So today is the day after our local elections, and we made some successes, some not so much, but we're going to celebrate the successes that we did have by planting tomatoes. That's just how I celebrate. This morning, it's actually really warm out today. The sun is shining. There's not much for clouds in the sky. It's a perfect time. It's not going to get too hot today. So I'm going to plant my tomatoes and my artichokes. I'm going to wait for the peppers because we're going to have a couple days later this week that's going to get down into the upper 30s, and I just want to wait on that. But everything else should be able to go into the ground now. So not only that, not only the election, not only our successes there, but today is my 17th anniversary with Wes. So we've made it 17 years through all of the game playing, all of the teasing and everything. It just made our marriage stronger, I think. So I'll keep taping toilet paper rolls to his sink and probably sewing his pant legs together and different things like that, just because it's fun. But let's get started on planting all our stuff today. So for my tomatoes, I don't know if you can see this, I strung a line up here of a covered wire, and then I hung string all the way down to the beds. And what I'm going to do is at every string I'm going to be planting a single tomato, and then I'm going to grow the tomato up the string to trellis the tomato. My tomatoes are indeterminate, which means they will continue growing until they die from the cold. But I have one string for every tomato plant that I have growing right now, except for my tomatillos. They're going to go into a different bed because I want to be able to make sure that I don't keep growing them in that same spot every year, because they do drop seeds fairly easily. And I want to make sure that we don't do that. These here, I put these up yesterday. They are for my cucumbers. So I'm going to be growing 4 different types of cucumbers this year. And so I'm going to separate those out instead of just growing them together, because that's what I did before. And it wasn't a big deal because a cucumber is a cucumber. And if all you're doing is eating it, then that shouldn't be a problem. But this year, I want to save seeds. So this year, I need to separate them out so that they don't cross-pollinate. And that way, when I save the seeds, I actually save the seeds of the parent plant to grow offspring that are the same as the parent plant. So that's what I'll be doing. All right, I'm going to grab all my tomatoes and we're going to get to it. So our drip irrigation for the 4-foot wide beds have 4 lines, and for the 3 1/4, 3.5 foot beds we have 3 lines. And today I was able to get all 23 tomato plants planted. I do have a few more over here. These are going to be the determinant varieties, so they're going to be more of a bush rather than growing up the trellis here. So the drip irrigation comes in different parts, pieces, and what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the drip tape and I'm applying the drip tape to these inlets, and then I'm closing the ends with these end pieces. So let me show you what we're doing. So I run the drip tape down the length of the bed, and then I basically just slip this onto the inlet, and I screw this piece on, and then that tightens it down so this won't come off. Then on the ends, so at the end of the bed, I cut the end of the drip tape where I want it to end with just a pair of scissors. So just cut it where I want it to go, knowing that I'm going to have to fold this up. Then I take this end piece here and I slip it onto the drip tape, like so, and then I fold up to the point where I want it to end. So sometimes I have to refold, readjust, but for the most part, I just fold until I get what I want. This one here, I've had to fold it too many times, so it's too long. So I'm just going to cut one fold off, and that should give me the correct amount of folds. And then once I folded it, I just slip it into the bigger end of this piece here, and I pull the tape, and that holds it tight. So on this, there's a very narrow and a thicker. The narrow end goes on first, and then you fold up and stick the folded pieces into the end here. And this has worked really well for me all last year, so that's why we're doing it again this year. I still have about 7 more lines to do, so I'm going to do that, and then that's going to be the end of the water system for the high tunnel. And then I can hook the water up to it and start irrigating. So I'm going to finish that right now. All right, I've been outside all day. I'm going to go in, get some water while I figure out why my line just busted over there. Never mind. Let me do that first, and then I'll walk you through the high tunnel. All right, turned off the water. I'm gonna go see what the heck. Oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, so that valve broke. The piece here popped out, must be old, so I'm gonna need to take it off here and put that end piece on to stop it from flowing while I test all the rest of the lines, and then I'll have to come back and fix this. All right, that should do it. Let's go test it again. So I just want to make sure that all the high tunnel lines are working and everything in there is being watered, and then we'll start working on all the trees and all of the other beds. All right, let's go check. All right, it's holding. So the high tunnel beds all have the drip lines in. I do have some drip lines that do have some breaks, so I am going to have to replace those. But I've already marked on my notes sheet in my tablet, my garden tablet, which ones need to be replaced. So I'll just run some new line out for that and check it out. I am going to use some landscape stakes to hold everything in place. So this way I'll know where I'm going to be planting all my plants so that they get the optimal water and I don't have to water as much. In this bed over here, I'm going to have peppers. I've already planted all of my artichokes. Being that this is a high tunnel, I'm going to be able to grow artichokes as a perennial. I'm still going to have to do some extra mulching in those areas, but the high tunnel is going to protect them much better. I'm going to have a fig tree in here. So looking forward to figs. I got all my tomatoes planted. These are my determinate tomatoes, and those over there are my indeterminate tomatoes, meaning that the determinate tomatoes produce a certain size bush and the indeterminate just keep growing and growing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right there is a spray of water. That's kind of like what I'm talking about with the breaks in the line. But other than those few little breaks, I'm going to have to replace those sections of lines, which is fine because I bought like 3,000 feet of line. So I'm going to have plenty to be able to do it. I'm very happy with my progress today. I got a lot done. I didn't get everything planted that I really wanted to, but I still got a whole lot done. I even got the water to the lines over here, the two beds. One is the berry bed, the berry patch. So I have raspberries, blackberries, boysenberries, and then I'm going to have some, they're not real huckleberries, but they're a different type, and they're just called a huckleberry. I'm going to be growing those there. And then, of course, my cucumbers are going to be on that second row, along with melons and sunflowers, because I'm growing a bunch of sunflowers this year. I want a lot of color and brightness, so I'm definitely growing sunflowers over there. And then I need to add water to my asparagus bed and my brick raised bed here. That's going to be things like hibiscus, my rose, different things. I want to get a witch hazel. I've been kind of looking online to see where I can get one. I haven't checked any of the local nurseries. That's probably my best bet. But I want to put a witch hazel in there. And My strawberry beds still need water, and my potato beds. And then of course I need to plant my potatoes, my beans, my cucumbers, all of which are direct sowing. So until the bed is ready, I really can't plant them. So, well, that's it for today. I'm done. It's my anniversary, so I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna get ready, and Wes and I are going to go have a celebratory dinner. Not only celebrating our anniversary, but we are celebrating 2 of our county commissioners got voted out. These county commissioners basically sided with corporations wanting to build subdivisions on farmland in an area where water is scarce. So as a farmer, I understand the need for farmland. I understand the need for continuing to produce food, especially with today's climate. So these 2 commissioners to go against the residents, they needed to be gone, and they are gone. So we're celebrating our anniversary, and we're celebrating the removal of 2 of our county commissioners. So we're going. Bye.